really proud of our team just for weathering the storm. I thought there were a couple storms during the game. We started really flat with lack of energy. We couldn't defend them man-to-man. And then we switched to the zone. We were getting stops, and then our offense still didn't come together. And I thought we were able to manufacture a good run, cut it to 4, and then they got separation again. And then we continued to just play. I thought our team weathered the storm. There were a lot of different things that we did with them today, and I think we're slowly still trying to figure out our identity with Haley McDonald coming in and giving us good minutes, moving Brooke to the point for a 40-minute game, putting Ashley off the ball. Just some things. We're still finding our way, but it feels really good to see our team pull that win out at home in front of our fans.
That 2-3 zone seemed to just like totally befuddle Texas State. Was that something that you just kind of had back in your mind that at some point in time you were going to go to that today, or did the situation of the game just kind of force you into that?
Yeah, this season we've had to play more zone. I love to play man-to-man, but I think for our personnel right now, we play it harder. It protects us from fouls. They started a smaller lineup, which gave us a lot of trouble, and they struggled against the zone. There were games that teams had zoned them coming in, so we knew that it was something that if we weren't unable to guard them man-to-man, that we could always go to the zone.
Seemed like it changed the tempo of the game. It really slowed them down. A lot of times they were taking shots late in the clock, and just from that perspective, it seemed like it changed things.
Yeah, it gave us momentum. I thought when we first went to it, we were able to get the stops, and then we weren't able to score. Their defensive game plan to start was outstanding. They started a smaller lineup. They were switching everything because we were small and we couldn't get anything in the paint. And that's why when we came out at halftime, we started Haley because you can't switch on her or else she can score the ball inside. And once we did that, I didn't think that they had a counter to that. So it was a little bit of like a game of chess for a while.
What do you think has contributed to just the slow starts and particularly on the offensive end, just being out of sync a lot early in games?
I think one big thing is Ashley Polachek's a really good point guard in transition. We don't have the depth to play 40 minutes fast, and so now we're having to play in the half court, and it's not a huge strength of hers. And so that's why the shift today of Brooke more at the 1, her at the 2. But I think it's just because this is the first year as a head coach my first time as a head coach, I've had this many lineups in terms of starting different players. We usually would have our solid 5, and it would be consistent. But this team is still kind of searching for the identity, and so we've mixed it up in terms of who we start. And I think that we haven't found that 5. We might have found it today, but I think we're still a work in progress.
Has this been one of your more challenging seasons as a coach?
I wouldn't say it. I think that you have to take injuries out of things. And I think you have to look at your team and you got to address maybe what are 3 things that are going to get in the way from you being successful. And when you look at those 3 things, 9 times out of 10, they have nothing to do with talent. They have to do with human behavior. And so people think that my job is, coaching the zone or coaching our ball screen. And really my job is coaching people and getting our players to buy into something that's bigger than themselves and getting them to be champions on and off the court, never mind wins and losses. And so I think that every team is a different team. And I think people look, well, you have 4 starters returning. It doesn't matter. Every team has challenges, and it's how you tackle challenges. And this team has been challenged this week with a lot of different obstacles, and I'm just proud of them for having the resiliency to be able to put 45 minutes of basketball together.
One player that, if you just looked at the stat line today, that probably could fly under the radar, but seemed to play really, really well at a very, very key point in the game was Nicola Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about just how she contributed when she came in after Pre got banged around on that one play late in the game, and you made your second of the 2 runs?
She did a good job. She came in and she played the back of the 2-3 zone, which for her size, that's not the greatest position to put her, but I thought she held her own. They were trying to seal the bigger post. And the thing about Nicola is she might not be the most athletic kid out there, but she's always in the right place at the right time. And today she hit a very timely three in addition to her ability to just be sound in the zone. And when we play zone, it gives us the opportunity to play players like her who maybe can't guard players off the bounce, and then it gives us an opportunity to have somebody that can shoot the ball. But if you go down, and that was a lot of my post-game talk to them, like, you look at Armani Hampton's stat line and it doesn't like blow you away, but she got an offensive rebound to basically seal the overtime game for us in terms of we get the offensive rebound, we can call a play, pre-scores, we could have won off that. You can go down, even Brooke, like, again, it's not about scoring. I just think that each of them played their role. One of the biggest pieces that you won't see, because you'll look at a stat and you'll see 0 for 4, 0 for 1, 1 for 2, and KK Porter. What she did when we were down 16 and her ability to come in and run a huddle and bring energy is something that this team has been dying for, just a leader. And she's a natural-born leader. And I thought today she found a role on this basketball team.
How important was today for just the development of your team the rest of the way?
I think it's huge because it's momentum. People don't understand the Sun Belt. People don't understand basketball. It is a game of matchups. And people will look like, oh, the women start, 0-3 in the league, and what's wrong with them? Well, like, what's wrong with them? They played 2 top 50 teams. Okay, and then the other one is a top 100. So they were tested early. Now you get into this schedule and you play a Texas State who's a lot like us, and then you go to Arkansas State, a lot like us, and then you come back and you play Coastal, and then you can look at this thing, and now we're 3-3, and everybody's like, oh God, the women's team's doing good. It's a game of matchups, and our league this year is anybody can beat anybody, and so we just have to be ready night in and night out. I would say that our team right now is not a UT Arlington, and they're not a Troy. But there's, 8 other teams that we're very comparable with. And this game is a huge game just in terms of momentum and finishing.